This tutorial goes along with Excel Project 1. To begin with, we're going to open Microsoft Excel, and then we'll take a look at our instructions. We're going to create a basic spreadsheet with just some text, and we're going to practice the formatting that we'll use on our main headings, subheadings, column headings. We're going to learn how to adjust our column width, center our page horizontally and vertically. We'll also learn how to turn on grid lines, add a header that contains the information we need for submitting the file. We'll convert this to a PDF, and then we will upload it to Canvas. All right, we're going to start in cell A1, turn our cap lock on, and we're going to type our main heading, which is Presidential Records. We're not going to worry about the formatting until we get all of our text in. In cell A2, turn your cap lock off and key in your subheading. Now we always want to keep one blank row above the beginning of our column headings, so we're going to skip row 3 and leave it completely blank. Then in cell A4, we're going to type our first column heading. Now the column headings do need to be keyed in initial case. That means you capitalize the first letter of each important word. And then we hit Tab and go to cell B4 to key in statistics. Tab again, go to C4, and key in President. Now when we're typing in the data, it will probably be easiest for us to type in one column at a time. So go ahead and key in all of the data that goes in column A. When you get to A10, you're supposed to key in the word shortest. Now it does try to add in additional text. We repeat the same things over and over again in Excel quite frequently, so it tries to think for you so that you have less typing to do. However, we don't want term in office to show on this, so we're going to type shortest, and then on your keyboard press your delete key. It's the one above your arrow keys, to remove the rest of that line. Then press enter and you can move on and finish keying the rest. Once we're finished keying in column A, I want to be able to see column B so that I can key that text in. We're going to come up to the line between the A and the B, up above our main heading. When we move our mouse pointer on that line, it turns into a two-headed arrow. We're going to click and drag until we can see all of the text from column A in its own column. Then we'll click under Statistics and key in the text that goes under that column. Once we key in all of the text for column B, go up to the line between the B and the C above our main heading, and we're going to click and drag so we can see all of column B. Then we'll click under President and key in the presidents that go with each of these statistics. Once we're finished with column C, we are ready to go ahead and start formatting, and we'll do this from the top down. However, we've keyed in a lot of information, so let's go ahead and save this project so we don't lose any of the information we've keyed in. We're going to go to our File tab, and then go down to Save As. Then be sure you change to your student drive, and then go into your computer technology folder, into your Excel folder, and we're going to name this Project 1. Alright, now we should be safe to start formatting. We'll start with our main heading. We'll go ahead and click there, and our instructions tell us that our heading is going to be 15 point. To change the font size, we come up to the font group. Make sure you're on the Home tab. Font group, and then here we have this drop down. Now if we look through the drop down, 15 is not an option. So what we're going to do is type 15 in and press enter. Then we want to go ahead and bold this. We already keyed it in all caps. And then our last step is to merge and center it over our table. Now we have to identify what is the last column we keyed text in. Well, we keyed text in A, B, and C. So we're going to highlight from A1 over to C1. When we do this highlighting, you want to make sure that you're in the middle of A1 and you have this white plus symbol. You'll click and hold, drag over to C1. Then on the Home tab, go to the Alignment group, and you have a Merge and Center button. You'll click that once. It makes it one giant cell and centers the text within. For our subheading, it should have been keyed in initial case, and then the other piece of formatting is that we center and merge this one as well. So we'll highlight A2 over to C2, then we'll come up to the Alignment group and click on Merge and Center. Then we come to our column headings. Those are on row 4. I'm going to come out to the side and click once on the number 4 to select that entire row. And the formatting that we apply here is underline and a regular center. Don't do merge and center. You want to come to the Alignment group and we want to click on this center that's on the bottom row, the middle button here in the alignment. Alright, step 2 in our instructions asks us to adjust our column width. Now to adjust auto, or to do an auto adjust, we go to the line between the A and the B, and we have that two-headed arrow. If you double click your mouse, it will automatically adjust the column to be as wide as your longest item in your columns. Now I'm going to go to the line between the B and the C. Make sure I have that two-headed arrow, and then I'll double click to adjust that column, and then I'll go to the line between the C and the D, double click on that line. So now all of my columns are adjusted automatically to the width that they need to be. Step 3, we are going to center horizontally and vertically on our page. To do that, we go to our Page Layout tab, then we go to our Page Setup group, and we're going to come over here and click on the launcher in the corner. That opens up our Page Setup dialog box. You'll click on the Margins tab, and then you'll go down to the bottom left-hand corner of this dialog box, put a check mark by horizontally, a check mark by vertically. Then click on OK. That change is not going to show until we do a print preview. The print preview will help us see whether or not that has been centered correctly. Next, we are asked to turn on the grid lines. Grid lines are also found on the Page Layout tab, but we're going to go over to the Sheet Options group. We have two sections here. We have grid lines and we have headings. We want to go to the grid lines side, and we're going to add a check mark next to print. You'll still have the check mark on view as well. Just add an additional one to print. That won't look any different until we do a print preview. Next, we're going to add a header that has our name, our class period, and our file name. To do the header, you go to the Insert tab. Then we'll go over to the Text group, and choose the header and footer button. This changes your view in Excel to a page layout view. So now we can see the margins of our page. It doesn't show us whether things are centered. We can just see the area that we have to work with. Our header is split into 3 sections. We're going to click in the left section and key in our name, first and last name. Click in the center section and key in your class period. And then the third section, we want it to show the file name. Now we do have a new tab that's been added when we're inside our header or our footer. It's called the Header and Footer Tools, and then the Design tab. Inside the Header and Footer Elements group, one of those buttons is called File Name. If we click on that, it puts a code here in our document, so it will display the file name. If we change the name of our file, it changes what displays here in your header. Alright, go ahead and click outside of your header, back underneath one of your headings. And I don't like to work in page layout view, so I'm going to go to my View tab and change my view here in the Workbook Views group back to normal. And that just hides my headers and footers. We want to run a spell check. I'm going to hold down my Control key and press my Home button to make sure I'm at the top of my document. And then to perform a spell check, I can press the F7 key on my keyboard, or I can go to the Review tab, and in the Proofing group, there's a spelling button. Now, if you have anything that shows up with a spelling error, make sure you fix that. Also, you need to go through and proofread. Make sure you didn't key a number wrong or have a name next to the wrong statistic. So really proofread your document carefully before you submit it. Now let's take a look at our print preview and make sure everything is where it needs to be before we are ready to submit this. I am going to save, and we've already named it, so I can just do a quick save, which is Control S or click on the disk. Now to print preview it, we go to the File tab, and then we're going to go down to Print. We don't click on anything else. We can just see our print preview at this point. Now you should have a header across the top. You should have a grid line showing. Notice that it put boxes around our table so we can see where the edge of our cells is. Also, it should be centered horizontally and vertically. Make sure everything looks okay. If you're missing anything, make sure you rewind this video and watch the portion that you missed, and make sure you reformat where you need to. Okay. Since everything is formatted correctly, we are now ready to go ahead and convert this to a PDF. To convert to a PDF, we go to the File tab, then we're going to go down to Save and Send, then we'll move over to Create PDF/XPS document, and then we'll move over to Create PDF XPS. It will ask us what we want to name it. Just go ahead and keep the name the same. It should say project1.pdf. Click on Publish. You can close that published document, and then you are ready to go into Canvas and upload this file to Canvas.